You look like you're in a different spot.
You what?
You look like you're in a different location.
I am. I'll tell you all about it.
Oh, I am too, though.
Look at us, friends. Well, happy Wednesday. So it's story time. I'm in my dog sitting, house sitting friend's house. And my friends Dave and Sharon, they're on a cruise in like Prague, Austria, this whole bit. And I have a beautiful golden doodle that I get to take care of for a month. And a beautiful orange cat. It's an orange cat. His name is Crusher. Get it? Orange Crush. Ha. Anyway. And so that's what I'm doing. And so I've got my laptop propped up on things. I've got a Keynote running instead of PowerPoint. So this is kind of a experiment. I'm learning how to make sure that you guys can see the screen on Keynote versus PowerPoint. So the $1 million question is, can you see the screen?
Yes, I can.
Oh, that's so exciting. Okay, let's see what happens when I do this. It's April 23rd, you guys. Oh my gosh, we've got a whole month. We got a whole week left in our month. And I'm recognizing Terry for being on with us live. I know a lot of you guys watch the replay, and I love that you do. And send some healing vibes to Phyllis Turco. She's feeling under the weather. And yes, oh my goodness. Terry, did you have a good week?
Yes.
Are you here? That's what I should be saying. You're here, so you're having a great week. Yes, and I'm going to fly through some of these because these are all of the positions in our career path. And so for a lot of people, and honestly for me, it took a long time for me to realize that we have two streams of income in Mary Kay. We have the selling piece and we have the team building piece. And I would always figure out, like, what do I need to make in sales to be able to buy XYZ? And then what had happened was I started adding some team members. It took me a long time to figure it out. So I encourage you to figure it out before I do, or before I did. And what it was I realized that if I'm working, very part-time, because I was very part-time, but I was adding team members who were also working part-time, then all of a sudden I have this extra stream of income that's coming straight from the company that does not interfere with the profit that any of the consultants are earning that are on your team. And so everybody starts at that independent beauty consultant spot. And then when we add one or two team members and they get active, then we become senior beauty consultants. And that's where we get a 4% commission, okay, on their orders from the company. They're still making their 50% and we're still making our 50%. And then we move into Star Team Builder mode, which is the red jacket. And that's where we are making 4, 6, or 8% on our team's orders based on the team's volume of order. And then they're all still making their 50%. Okay. So then what happens is we move over to team leader, and team leader is where the highest consultant commission is sitting right there. And that's at 13%. You can get 9 or 13% when you're a team leader, but we like thinking bigger, right? We want that 13%. And so also in all of these streams so far, when a consultant becomes Great Start qualified, you get a $50 bonus. So as they're earning free product from the company, you're getting a $50 bonus because they become Great Start qualified and you recruited her. So that's another piece of money that I think we leave on the table so many times because we're not realizing the benefits that are out there. Like the company has set it up in such a smart way because they want the consultants to be successful. So they're making sure they've got extra free product that's available and bonuses that way. And then bonuses as they're adding team members. in their great start period as well. Then for us as people who are not in our great start period, we're still able to earn the commission, but also the bonuses when they get great start qualified. And so then what happens at 5, 6, or 7, we're a team leader. At elite team leader, we have 8 or more team members. And right now we are able to, when we have 8 personal active, we are able to do what we call go into director and qualification to take that team of 8 and grow it into a team of 24 so that you can become an independent sales director and earn even more commissions and streams of income coming off of the bonuses that the company offers in addition to your personal sales. So being able to take advantage of everything that the company is offering us is one of the best ways to really work smarter and not harder. Okay. And we'll talk a little bit about the money piece in a little bit, but we've got the team building challenge. And some people say, and this is true, they'll say, oh gosh, Danny, it's April 23rd. I'll worry about, whatever challenge is happening in May because there is only 7 days left in the month and we can't, I can't get X, Y, or Z done in 7 days. And the honest to goodness truth is that you can get a whole ton done in 7 days. A whole ton can get done in 1 day. And so looking at this, you can get an extra body count. I think that sounds silly the way I just said it, but I'm going to sneeze. Hey, excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. And we're going towards the Queen's Court of sharing. And so let's pretend that let's put Terry. Let's pretend Terry did. Let's pretend Terry added 2 great start qualifieds. Well, that's cool. But if you add 3, then you'll get 1 extra. So you'll have 3 great start qualifieds, but the company is going to say on their reports that you added 4 and give you that head count for 4. You don't get extra bonuses for it, but the head count towards Queen's Court of sharing is kind of a cool thing there. Do you like that? That's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the Team Leader Plus Challenge, and this is for the Global Grow and Celebrate. And this is everybody who's got team leader, elite team leader, or director in qualification. When you have 5 or more active personal team members by June month end, you will earn a special lanyard and bling badge at seminar. It's all about the extra recognition that we get in the bling badges. I'm not even kidding you. The lanyard is a different one. It's so cool. So, and that is only for consultants. You guys get a different lanyard available to you. So that's pretty great. So getting up to 5 active or more by the end of June. Pretty cool. The monthly selling challenge, you guys, mine came in the mail and I haven't taken it out of my box yet. But this is kind of showing you that when you're consistently working towards, selling about $400 a week or more, you're going to be able to easily pay yourself a paycheck and, place your orders with the company. And from that, with a $700 wholesale order cumulative throughout the month, this is the big old cooler that's so stinking pretty. It's adorable. And that's our Power Your Sales Monthly Selling Challenge freebie that's this month. Star Consultant Quarter, we are cruising through that right now. We're only like 1/3 of the way through the quarter, but check out the Star Consultant program. Check it out on InTouch and just see what kind of prizes are available. Some people bank all their points and just keep saving till they hit that mark where they're able to take advantage of a really high ticket item. Some people like to get lots of little things, lots of gift cards you can do, lots of MK Connections vouchers so you can get like a beauty code or t-shirts or whatever. So lots of different options there. Jewelry, luggage. I love the luggage. I love the kitchen stuff. Lots of things in my kitchen come from Mary Kay Star Consultant prizes. Okay, these are the seminar awards, and they're just beautiful. And I know that we've talked about them lots and lots, but I think it's good to just repeat. The Court of Sharing is when you've got 24 personal qualifieds between July 1st and June 30th. You get the beautiful gold and diamond bumblebee there, or you could pick the cash, but you want the bee. Quarter sales is when you hit 40,000 retail. You get this beautiful ring that's big, honking, and lots of diamonds in there. They're real. They're not summer diamonds, where some are diamonds and some are not. Haha. They're actual all diamonds. And you've got that $525 cash option that you could choose instead, but the diamonds are always worth more. And then don't forget about your red jacket. When you wear a red jacket or you're in your red jacket, you don't have to think about what to wear. It's like the beginning of Garanimals for grown-ups. It's true. And then this month, through the end of the month, we've got the $20 Glow For It challenge, where it's only $20 to start your Mary Kay business. And if you want to add on the Pro Start for $80, that saves you another $10. So basically, instead of doing $125 for the two pieces, it's only $100 for the two pieces. And so why not take advantage of that, especially with people that are maybe talking about their concern about, prices that are going up for everything, or all of a sudden they've got a new expense, or maybe they've got additional expenses. I always talk about, who do we know that has more month than money? And those are some people that you could talk about how just $20 could get them started into something really special. So don't forget, we've got our wonderful spring products, our beautiful Great Heights mascara. Make sure you're talking about that with your people, because your customers and you yourself, if you haven't tried it, you need to. I'm wearing Fanorama today because I had a mishap with my Great Heights. It decided to, there's that little reservoir that keeps the extra inside, and I must have been turning it too hard to close it, and I broke it. So then when I took it out, it looked ridiculous, and so I was like, I can't use that anymore. So then I pulled up my Fanorama, and it's great, but I really was falling in love with the Great Heights. But I love all our mascaras, so there you go. Keeping in mind, we've got tons of options in their mascara choices. And we've got the illuminating bronzers and highlighters there, my friends. Medium glow, deep glow, golden glow. Those all three will fit inside the compacts with the magnetic holding. If you've got the biggest one or the mid-size one, those will fit in there, no problem. And then our brows that wow, the limited edition Mary Kay brow kit for $28 with those three different colors. You've got your blonde, dark brunette, or brunette. And the same nourishing oil that came from the Naturally line just got repackaged. Same formula, just a new look. And the retail on it is still $50. And then don't forget about our SPF 50 for the body and face sunscreen broad spectrum. And that one is $30 for that giant tube, along with our limited edition, or special edition rather, because it is going to be in the summer book as well, the After Sun Replenishing Gel. It's the same product inside that we're all used to. They just got it packaged so that it matches all of the other stuff with that pale pink, beautiful boxed set. The blanket bundle, I think, is still in there, or if you bundle your two sunscreens, you get the blanket for $5, or you can put the After Sun with the sunblock and get those. And you can choose the blanket for $5 on that as well. These are, and we talked about this, next month, middle of the month, the prices are going to be going up on some items. And so if you are a lover of these items, you may want to stock up now so that you can turn around and make more than 50% profit. And, like eye patches, soothing eye gel, the satin lip set, pieces parts individually as well. Body care on the satin body pieces parts. Your color cosmetics, just the foundations going up a little bit, and the gel eyeliner. And then you've got your beauty tools, where it's the travel roll up going up a tiny bit. I'm trying to read. It's hard to read. And a couple of brushes. Yeah, the brush collection's going up. The all over powder brush by itself and the cheek brush are going up. And then we've got some section 2. The look is going up a tiny bit. And, really it's still a great deal. $5 for a pack of 10. And, you've got your PCP that we just finished enrolling in. And that was only 95 cents to be able to utilize. Don't forget, I want everybody to kind of just pick a platform that you want to work with. and just start playing. And if it would help you guys, if you're going to be doing some Facebook silliness, if you want to practice doing lives, then I'm going to have a group. I think we had it during COVID, actually. So I think it's kind of just a dormant group. I'll find the name of it so that you guys can go on, go live. No one's going to say a word. No one's going to go, gosh, she looks silly doing that. Just so that you can get in the habit of practicing going live. If you could say, hey, I'm going live if anybody wants to watch, you can do that too. That's really the only kind of group opportunity that there is. Like, you could do Instagram things. There's information in all of that digital zone on InTouch, especially about how to set stuff up on, like, for Reels with Instagram or for TikTok. I've always done Facebook because it's just been my wheelhouse since I started on social media. But Instagram has lots of great things that are available, as is TikTok. And you guys, I really feel like we need to be getting into that Instagram, TikTok area, because we want to be able to make sure that the longevity of the company is still there. So we're bringing in younger people in that Gen Z. And what's the one after Gen Z, Terry? Do you know?
There's so many. I don't know.
I don't even know. It's just crazy town. But my kids are in the one after Z. Is it Alpha? I don't even know. I don't know. But we've got the end of the year tea party, where if you complete 4 of the 6 tasks by June 30th, you get to have a tea party with me in July. It might be iced tea because it's hot outside, but it doesn't matter. We're going to have a tea party and it'll be great. And lots of different ways to earn it. And I'm excited to see how we do it. And then we are in that Alice in Wonderland 100-day dash, where we've got 100 faces, 100 shares, 100 new, and I'm giving away $300 cash. We've got all the tracking sheets in the land and all the ways that you can kind of check stuff off each day and be ready to rock and roll on all of that stuff. Look at me. I just stopped sharing. Okay, so let's talk about money. Who likes money? I like money. Who wants more of it? I want more of it. And so there's a few things that I want to make sure we hit, because these are they're not like super lengthy ideas, but I do want to make sure I'm able to pull up a couple of things to show you. Okay. I did upgrade my computer. That was the other thing too, is I had an Avis laptop that I had for 5 years, and it has served me very well. But like the Wi-Fi was not there without wiring it into the wall and that kind of stuff. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I just can't. So I just can't anymore. Just can't. But I am going to see if I can open these couple things here on Google Sheets. So I got a MacBook. And for some of you guys that are nervous about whether or not you can afford things like that, I think you need to ask yourself questions of, can you afford not to? And I say that in all of the genuineness, because if you've got equipment that is working, that is going to be the greatest thing in the whole wide world. If you have equipment that is not working, that is such a downer, right? It's like you're fighting with things. Like when I was stuck in Connecticut 2 years ago in June to finish the year, and the only electronic device I had was my phone, because I didn't pack my laptop because I only thought we were going to be there like 2 days. Jeff didn't have his laptop because he only thought we were going to be there 2 days. And we ended up being there, I think, 9 days. And so it was really kind of stressful trying to work from my phone when I'm used to working with a tablet or a laptop or whatever. I mean, it was just a little bit stressful. And so what you want to be able to do is have the things in place so that you can kind of be at peace and know that you can work with it. Now, a laptop is an expense, and it's a business expense. And there's lots of things that are expenses that I think that we don't think about, because I know I didn't, because I came from the world of teaching where, I was paying out of my pocket for things, and And that's what a lot of teachers do. And I think a lot of people in their own businesses will do the same thing and go, oh, well, it's not a big deal. I just da 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 da. And my accountant, I didn't get a scolding, but he was like, Danny, you're leaving so much money on the table for deductions, and you don't have to know a thing about taxes in order to make sure that you're doing it all right and on the up and up. And so what I wanted to share with you is there's 2 envelopes that I'm a huge advocate of in your money management. Now, a lot of people can just do it on spreadsheets and regurgitate and all that stuff. That's awesome. What I do know is anytime I'm able to just give the envelopes to my accountant, they're in New York, so I just send screenshots of the outside of the envelope, and they are happy campers, and they just go with that. And if they need something out of the envelope, I pull it out, take a screenshot, send it over. So I'm going to do this little screen sharing here so you can see this document that I have. And we're going to talk about expenses first, because that's a lot of people kind of freak out because they're like, expenses, what? But this is a piece of paper that I print, and it goes on the front. I just staple it to the front of a manila envelope. And so it'll print on an 8.5 by 11, but this, you just put the month on it, and my handwriting's pretty big, but you just write it all in, and you won't necessarily use everything that's on here. Okay. But you might. So if you're buying stuff on section 1, you put that in. So if you placed a $225 wholesale order, that's an expense this month. If you did a $700, that's an expense this month. If you had to give any kind of customer refund, that's an expense. If you dovetail a party, which is something that we do, but it's basically you get a percentage and somebody does the party for you. Maybe you double booked yourself, or maybe you're sick, whatever. You're still going to get, you get an expense because somebody else got paid from that party, right?
Right.
I've only done dovetail a few times in my career. It's not a huge thing. Hostess gifts or section 2 items, that goes in there. So like let's pretend that Terry was my hostess, and I'm giving her a satin handset just for hosting the party. That $38 would be in there for my hostess item. Or if there was samples, that's in there. And it's all totaled up. It's not just one thing. So sometimes I'll just have it all added across the month and then just put a total or whatever. Non-recovered sales tax is something that you are able to deduct. So whenever, let's pretend that it's $100 charge, you're giving them a 15% discount. So it's only going to be $85. You paid the retail sales tax off of the $100 retail item. Because when we pay our wholesale orders, we're paying the 50% wholesale, but we're paying the full retail tax because that's how we don't have to pay income tax. That's how Mary Kay's structured it, so that we're paying the sales tax up front. So when someone pays us the sales tax, we get it back. Okay. When we don't charge as much in sales tax as we already paid in, that's something we can write off. Okay. And you track that. I mean, it's like, I just do quick math. If somebody got a discount, okay, well, how much did I lose in sales tax? Okay, cool. That's non-recovered sales tax. Bam. I used to think that was bad. It turns out it's really good. Personal use. It's wholesale plus your full tax. That's how I write it off. So, let's pretend, which I'm not really pretending, that it was like $250 wholesale that I wrote off in March for me to use on my face and my body. Okay, so that's $500 retail. So basically it was $250 wholesale plus full retail tax. Okay, and I use a sales ticket. Or you could actually create yourself as a customer and put it in on my customers, however you want to do it. But that creates a paper trail. So then you'll have your total expenses there. This next spot, like when you're a new consultant, you don't have a website subscription, but you'll only have one a year that pops up, and it's, your $30 renewal. If you've turned in your preferred customer stuff for that month, for April, let's say you had some preferred customer things. Let's put those in there. If you're like in a networking group, like I'm in one where I have quarterly dues. So I
Mhm.
would be putting in my $200 spot here. If I've got letters or cards that I've purchased that I'm going to like have for customers, or postcards, office expenses, postage, anytime you're paying postage on a Mary Kay order, whether it's a $7.95 customer delivery service, $14.95 that's coming from the company, that's all expenses. Anytime that you're going to print something like at Office Depot, supplies, anytime I get something that I'm like creating for you guys, that's a write-off. You're also able to, I think it's funny, telephone and long distance, this is a little dated, but your cell phone, like if your cell phone is being used for your business, like, so I kind of attributed to it's my lifeline. If I don't have my cell phone, I'm completely up a creek. And my greeting line is me as a sales director in Mary Kay Cosmetics. If like Terry, if you were to, because you have two businesses, you would just
Yeah.
have to just say, hi, this is Terry, and just let me know how I can help you. Da, 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 da. So I think you have to just kind of make it more generic, unless you
Mhm.
wanted to have like two lines or something. You got that available. But then let's say you're wanting to go to seminar this year, and or whatever is coming up, and or like a fall festival that we might be doing in California, or anything, air, hotel, transportation, all of that is an expense that you can write off portions of it. Your career conference or seminar registrations, any meal or entertainment that you're doing. So if I take Terry out to lunch and we're talking about goal setting, or we're talking about, we're having a power day and we're going through all, everybody that she knows who has skin, and we're working up a game plan, and we're getting some, some Diet Cokes, or, coffee at Starbucks or whatever, those receipts we save, and I write on my receipt, coffee with Terry.
Yep.
And that's an expense. If you've got bank charges, or you've got credit card payments or processing fees, that's all in there, okay? Mileage is also something that you want to be tracking. That's not listed here, but that's a separate thing. You can use an app. There's a lot of apps out there where you can track your mileage. My father-in-law he had been in sales. Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, ever since I'd met him, but I think from the time he, like since Jeff was a baby, just in sales. So he did that for probably, I want to say, gosh, like 40 years or there.
Mhm.
And he was so good about, like, he used to have like the notebook where he'd track his mileage, right? And as soon as there came an app, he was all about it. He was like, Danny, you've got to see this. And like with a Mary Kay car, I don't have to track it because the Mary Kay car itself is the advertisement. So it's always working. Does that make sense? But if I'm like, let's pretend Jeff's doing deliveries for me in his car, that's mileage that we can claim because he's not in the Mary Kay car doing the deliveries.
Right.
Or any of you guys who don't have a Mary Kay car yet, that's what you would be doing. And like, let's pretend, Terry, you're going to your job and you've got a delivery to do. Well, you're going to work, but you just happen to also be driving to do a delivery, so you can write that mileage off as well.
Right.
A lot of this, you want to talk to your tax professional, but it needs to be somebody who's not like a kiosk company. It needs to be somebody who's legit and works home-based businesses all the time. And we have people that we know and trust in the area. I have been using my tax people now for, I have to do math in my head, 17 years, because it was a referral from a friend when I had done I goofed on my taxes and I was doing them myself. I goofed, and it was a big old penalty and a big old fee I had to pay, and it was scary. And that's when I was like, oh, and it wasn't even Mary Kay related. I just messed up something on TurboTax. And so everything from that moment on, I shipped to these folks in New York, and they're former IRS auditors. So they know what to do and how to advise me. And they have Mary Kay people. And there, like I said, there's a lot of local people here that we trust, that are not going to screw you. Because what we want you to be able to do is get refunds or not have to pay taxes. That's the big one. The other thing, and I think I'm going to pull up this other, it's the sales tracking. And this kind of coincides with your weekly accomplishment sheets. Okay. Weekly accomplishment sheets freak people out because they think that they're going to get scolded if they don't sell anything. And I'm here to tell you there was a year that Danny sold $35. It was a firming eye cream. When firming eye cream was $35 and everything. I mean, it just wasn't working my business. Zoe was a baby. I wasn't working. And so what we have here is just really simple. This would go on another set of envelopes. And you'd have week 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. The only time that we roll 5 into it, I basically, you make a decision. If it rolls into, like, you don't double dip the weeks. So, like, let's pretend April ends the 30th is on a Wednesday. So that might be the 5th week. So then the first week of May would actually start on the 4th. Does that make sense?
Right.
You could do it however you want. Like, let's say you wanted to wrap up April on Saturday. You could do that too. But usually if there's a 5th week in play, I have it show up on that month. And then the next month is, it picks up. And I put the dates in there. And so what you're going to do is basically all your sales tickets go into the envelope for that week. All of your weekly accomplishment sheets for the month go in there. And I even take it one better is that I go ahead and take your sales tickets, staple it to the weekly accomplishment sheet that it goes with, and then in it goes. Okay. Then you've got 4 or 5 weekly accomplishment sheets, and it's okay to have $0 in sales on a week. You just want to make sure you've got enough sheets in there to coincide with the dates, right? Because if you're audited ever, not that I feel like there's any auditing going to be going on, knock on wood, with all of the reduction in force that they're doing, as far as federal workforce. But, I'm still going to knock on all the wood or look around the land that I don't get audited.
Oh, yes.
But if we did, then we've got a paper trail that's going to be just fine. Okay. If you are in April right now and you're like, oh my gosh, Danny, I haven't done that. You can go back to January and just start filling stuff in. And the cool thing is when you're on In Touch doing that, let's pretend you find a sales ticket that maybe you had misplaced. You can go back in and fix it. It's not a big deal. Okay. And at the end of the month or the end of the week, you print those, you staple them all together, and making sure I'm showing you the right thing still. Yeah. Okay, good. And so then you've got your sales, the sales tax, hostess gifts, giveaways. Like, let's say you're giving away mascaras, or you're giving away beauty boxes to the first person that books, or whatever you're dealing with there, and your non-recovered sales tax. That's all going in for your sales. And then make sure that your tax professional knows that you make 50% on the sales. Okay. Because the problem that you can run into is they think the sales, and let's pretend it was $1,000 week. You made 500, and we want to make sure that they know it was 500 and not 1,000. Okay. Yeah. And then the other thing is, when it comes time for tax time, I want to throw a couple thoughts at you. ProPay, you'll want to print that. You'll want to print anything that you use to have money exchange hands. So like PayPal generates an annual statement now. They didn't used to, now they do. Venmo, I think you can generate it. They haven't said we have to claim it yet, but they've been saying it's coming for about 3 years now. So you might as well just start treating it like a business, because it is. And it's not like, I know a lot of my beauty professionals that like do nails and hair and things like that, they want to try to avoid using Venmo as much as we can. But, I have a lot of customers that use Venmo, so I'm okay with it. It's fine. Because it doesn't cost us anything, darling.
Side note on that.
Yes.
Is Venmo is changing its rules and regulations.
Okay.
They have to be signed up for Venmo to be able to transfer money and stuff, because you are able to get around it, but I don't think so anymore.
Okay.
From my mother.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. Terry's mom is a banking goddess. And so that's very good that we have that information. She's like our resource of things coming down the pike. And it helps us do things on the up and up too. You want to have at the end of the year, and you need to pick a day to do it. And you need to not wait, because if you wait, it just makes you crazy. That you want to count the products that you have on hand to create have an inventory. Some people do it quarterly just so they can kind of keep track of what they've got. Some people just do it once a year, but you got to do it at least once a year. Okay. And when you do that, I use, let me show you how I find it. There's a couple different things. I use a spreadsheet to record it all. Some people use other things, but I'm going to pull up, there's an order form. It's like a paper order form that basically has every product in the line. And if for some reason, if you guys don't have access to it, I want to make sure that I can get it for you. So I would print like a bunch for you, because there's a couple places on InTouch that I have access to that you guys don't. But I'm looking here. Hold on. Oh no, it should be there. Winter 2024. Trying to not burp out loud. Oh, okay. I think it's probably okay. I think you guys have this. I think you do. Okay, hold on. Let me show you what this thing is. It was under ordering, and you can just see it. And it's the paper version of the spring ordering form. So let me get this to blow up a little bit. Now I need to zoom in. I was going to, well, let's show that. Okay. It's 10 pages long, but this is what we use when we're doing inventory. So it's just really easy. Here's my miracle set, great. Write down how many do I have, and here's my repair pieces. Here's my Mary Kay skincare. Here's my clinical solutions pieces, parts, so it's all done by category. So you want to try to set up your products that way, maybe, so that you can find it all. Now, let me tell you something. When it comes time for shades of things, for an inventory purpose, no one cares how many beige C170s you have. They want to know how many matte foundations you have, or since matte and luminous are the same price, you could just say 3D foundations, however many you've got total. If you're talking inventory purposes for tax purposes, they don't care what color things are. If you want to have it just so you know what you've got, then by all means, do it one at a time. Okay. Lipsticks, same thing. Lipsticks are all $20 now. So to make my life less insane for tax time, when I delegate this task to like my children, because they're my human sweatshop, but I do pay them, so it's not really free. But they'll count it and they'll give me a grand total of how many lipsticks do I have? How many lip glosses do I have? That's a different price point, right? Or is it the same now? But basically, it kind of sets you up so you've got it. Now, Section 2 sales aids, if you want to track that, that can be Section 2 expenses for the year. I usually, for inventory, I don't mess with that. I just do straight up what I have for products. Okay. Now, the other thing is, anytime I'm making an order for personal use, I use a sales ticket that says Danny personal use. And I thumbtack it next to my desk. And as I'm using stuff, I write it down. If Jeff needs things, I write it down. If I need demo products, because I'm going out in the field and I'm working with people, and I want to make sure the products are fresh and they haven't been sitting in since COVID in a zipper bag, right? Because that's yucky. And you want to make sure it's all within the right time period, because we normally have a 3-year shelf life on products, and the day codes on the back help us figure that out. And you can look that up online too. It shows you how to figure it out, which is really great. And then it helps you move the products and make sure that the oldest one is in front when you're setting stuff up like that. And so basically what you want to do is have a sales ticket for giveaways. Like, let's pretend I'm donating 2 beauty boxes worth of spa stuff for Teacher Appreciation Week at 3 different campuses in town, well, those are write-offs because nobody bought that for me. I'm gifting it. Okay, that would be a write-off. Giveaways for a party, that just goes in with the party tracking and stuff like that. This is like a silent auction or a Mother's Day basket that you're gifting away at a restaurant, promo kind of a thing, those kinds of things. Discontinued product, if you don't want to keep it on your shelf. I'm a big advocate of, if it's not in the lookbook, I don't carry it. Not everybody thinks like I do, though. And so some people like to keep stuff on hand as long as it's not expired. So I like to move it. It's like the minute it's not available in the lookbook, I pull it, I write it off, and then I can either gift it or I can use it. And those can sometimes be little extra giveaways that you throw in people's orders because you wrote it off. Now it's a gift. Okay. Expired product. I used to get so upset when I would write off expired product, but you need to do it. And expired product, they say it's a 3-year shelf life. Obviously, if it's got SPF, it's got an expiration date right on the container. Some of the other products do, like eye patches have a date. The thing, what you want to check though, the box might have an expiration date on it. Do not go by what the box says. Go by what the code says, because it'll have an expiration on the actual product itself as well. Because sometimes there's been it's been odd. I know that my friend Robin's ranted about it a little bit. I've gone like, that doesn't make sense, because they make the boxes, and maybe the boxes have been sitting there a long time, but the product is fresh. And so basically it's like, we got to go with what the product says, not what the box says. Isn't that weird?
Right.
So just gotta double check, So we had, personal use, demo, discontinued, expired.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones. Those are your categories. So those, I also have, the totals on that for tax time. I'll say, okay, this was how much I wrote off and expired, how much was discontinued, how much were giveaways. And, in addition to the one on the monthly expenses for personal use and demo. Okay. So when you're doing all of that, you're able to treat it like a business, and it's not meant to overwhelm, but what it does do is it kind of creates that moment to have a system be put in place. Like if you do a party, the party's not over till you've got the sales tickets put where they need to go, and to be able to record it on the weekly accomplishment sheets. If you don't want to put it online, you can print the weekly accomplishment sheets, hard copies, just fill them out that way. It's fine. If you've got dry cleaning, let's say for your, like if it's a beauty coat and you're going to clean it that way, that's something you can write off. Talk to your tax professional though, because like my director jacket is a write-off when I go to the cleaners. But like, I don't think my seminar ball gown is a write-off when I use that, so when I wear that, it's like, that's not a write-off. Some accountants will say that hair and nails are a write-off because it's part of the brand, that you are a beauty brand ambassador. And so you need to look like $1 million. Some people will say you can't. So just find out what's okay with your tax people. Don't be blowing your money on, $500 hair treatment to find out, nope, you can't write it off. And you're like, oh, boo, be smart. And the other piece, because we want to make sure that we know we're making money at this, is we have what we like to call Financial Friday. And back in the dark ages, when we had checks, we would write ourselves a paycheck every single week. Okay. But people don't really use checks very much anymore. They'll use transfers, they'll Zelle themselves, they'll, whatever they've got going on. A lot of times people will just transfer from one account to the other. Some people would like to bank at two separate places, like their personal would be at one account, their business would be at another bank. It doesn't really matter. You just want to make sure you're keeping the funds separate, right? Because that helps you for tax time too. But let's pretend I sold $200. So $200 means $100 needs to be going back into my inventory on section 1. Okay. And the other 100 is my profit. And from that 100, that's where I get to decide what I'm going to do with it. And we usually encourage people to have a little bit set aside for like hostess gifts or postage or those kinds of expenses that you need to be able to pay for up front. Take a little bit out of your profits for that. A lot of nationals train on the 60-40 principle rather than 50-50. But I like to make sure that you fully understand that you do make 50% on what you sell. It's what you do with your profit that's up to you. Okay. If you want to be able to keep that $100 yourself, you can. The tax is going back into your placing another order kind of a thing. But keeping in mind, you're always going to have shipping charges when you place an order. So I always think of it like when I profit $100, I want to try to keep like $20 set aside. Dental stuff that might come my way. Like if I want, new gift bags or anything like that. Okay. Some people will tithe on that, and that's up to you. But if it's 20% or whatever you do for that, cool. But all of that's coming out of your profit. But the idea is if I sell $20, I should be writing myself a check for 10 or transferring 10, because it's important that you see that you've made money. There's this thing we have in our brain called the reticular activating system, where once we've done something a few times, it expects us to keep doing it again. We keep the whole thing in motion. And so we want to make sure that we don't just say we're making money, because if we're not writing ourselves that paycheck, then this gets in our head. Am I really making money in this business? Like when ProPay, you have money in your ProPay account because somebody placed an order. Like I had a $300 order from a customer last week. I placed her order. I gave her order, replaced all the products. And so I had roughly, I think it was like 125 because I absorbed shipping charges or whatever I paid for shipping for. So that $125 on Friday, I transferred it out into my account. Some people will let it sit there, and that's fine. You have choices because you're an independent beauty consultant. It's your business. But I want to make sure that I see the money, because you want to be able to pay for things like groceries, electricity, air conditioning, water. If you need the profits from your business to be able to do that, then you need to be able to move that money every week. You know what I mean? So that's what I want everybody to be able to do, is have a financial Friday, or it could be Money Monday, however you want to do it in your world. I think Friday is a great time to do it. Some directors like to do it on Mondays because a lot of their business happens over the weekend. But I think it's a really great thing to do. So your challenge for this week is to get your envelopes set up. So what you're going to want is 12 envelopes for your expenses, 12 envelopes for your sales, so 24 total. Label them, and I'm going to send you guys the sheets that you can print, so you can just take them, print them, and tape them right on and be done. Okay? That'll be going here in the next email. And then I want you to sell something so that you can be able to write yourself a paycheck. Okay? 2 things. My computer just dinged. It's so funny. I laugh because it's true. Anything for the good of the order, Miss Terry? Any questions for me? Did you learn anything fun?
Always learn something.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so
I
glad.
do.
That's good.
No, not at this time. Although I do have to say I am already ahead on the envelopes because I do that at the beginning of the year.
Oh, so smart.
But see, I have to do it for the other business too. So,
and then basically you're going to have like 48.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, here's a quote. Oh, no, 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 no. Where'd it go? It was a really good one, but now I just got to find it. Ah, come on. Come on. Come on, Mary Kay. Um, what I want to say, it's so okay. It was something like this. Women in their 20s need looks. Women in their 30s and 40s need a sense of humor and wit. And women in
Yes.
their 50s on up need cold hard cash.
Yes.
I think women in our 20s, 30s, and 40s also need cold hard cash.
Yes.
So with that, my friends, I know that in these last 7 days of April, we can do really big things. And I challenge you to look at what you put down for like a goal for the month, the one that kind of made you want to barf just a little bit. And think about like what could you do this week to really just ramp it up and do something spectacular? Because I think you can. And if you think you can, then you can. It's true. All right, my friends, we'll go out there and have $1 million week, Terry.
All right. Thanks, Danny.
I love you. I'll talk to you soon.